It's more than just a band. It's a sort of a way of a circus. Yeah, a circus way of looking at the world, and people do realize the world is a circus. And I think music is a great way to escape and laugh at it all, and to try and sort of maintain some sort of independence.
Kula Shaker, the Britpop anomaly, as they've called themselves, and it's true. They came up in the mid-90s alongside bands like the Verve, Oasis, Blur, but they've never quite fit into that media pigeonhole of that catchy label, and for good reason. Today, nearly 8 studio albums into their career, they're older, wiser, maybe a little more mature, but their philosophy remains the same as it's always been. To create an escape, for one, and for the rest, you'll just have to listen. I recently had the privilege of speaking with frontman Crispian Mills, longtime keyboardist Jay Darlington, and, in and out, bassist and fellow founding member Alonza Bevan when the band came to town last month. Kula Shaker co-headlined this show with the Dandy Warhols, so go listen to my interview with guitarist Pete Holmstrom if you haven't already. And between these interviews, while I was waiting for the band to get back from lunch, I made small talk with drummer Paul Winterhart.
We're pretty quiet.
Sure.
By rock and roll standards, it's not like Guns Roses.
No.
The Libertines.
Sure.
We're pretty chill on that side of things.
Before the rest of the band showed up, and it was time to begin.
Does this work okay?
For me,
Alright. Should be fairly quick, 10-15 minutes or so. That's alright for you guys.
it'll hurt us more than it'll hurt you.
Okay, well, I'll keep it short.
No, it's fine. We love talking about ourselves.
Alright, okay, well,
I'll talk about you, you can talk about me.
perfect, and then you can talk about me.
You can just moan about the pair of us.
Okay.
Here's the obligatory disclaimer. We recorded this interview in the early stages of soundcheck, so you'll hear some background noises, but close your eyes and it's almost like you're there. Enjoy.
I'll start with what you guys have going on at the moment. Wormslayer, your 8th studio album, kind of a big deal. It's out in January, is that right?
I think so.
Allegedly, yes.
Alright, allegedly. And so I guess my question is, we've released a couple singles from it. Have you been playing anything else in the set that's maybe unreleased that comes from?
Yeah, we have. We've been playing a song called Day for Night.
Okay.
But it's like when you do a support show and you've got an hour and half the audience is someone else's crowd. It's kind of a different type of shape of performance. So we did a very different show on the East Coast, and since we joined the Dandies, we've kind of
So sort of combined.
yeah, it's just a different kind of a presentation. But all the songs sound really good live. We just can't fit them all in at the moment.
Yeah.
We've been playing Charge of the Light Brigade and Broken Folk and Good Money and I mean, primarily we're a live band.
Yeah.
So, our challenge in the past was always making stuff work in the studio that was really electric live, and it's harder than you might think. But we're sort of getting the knack of it now.
Yeah, finally. So then is that how, I guess, a lot of your newer music comes about, out of sort of, not like jams per se, but maybe playing together in a live setting? Is kind of how you write a lot, or not so much?
Yeah, there's a bit of that, but there's always a definite song as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a groove or a vibe that you've created amongst yourselves.
That was
and then
Rabbit Ears, by the way.
Rabbit Ears for vibe. That it gives you a good basis for a tune. So I might have some melodies hanging around in the bottom drawer, and then something comes up and I go, oh, that will really work with this. So But I think that was for me. That was the difference between like the other work that I've done over the years is just that this band is a chemistry. It's a character.
Yeah.
And when you take a song and you give it to the band, it takes on a certain character that you wouldn't have if you were working on your own or you're working on film or whatever. I've written songs for films. It's a different thing altogether.
So what can you say about this next album? How do you think it might differ from
I think everyone should buy it.
Okay. I think that's a good
I
argument.
think everyone should buy it, and that would make it different from all the other albums.
Well, we just sort of got a bit more psychedelic, really, generally, as we played. I mean, we were always definitely very influenced by psychedelia, and it's just become more and more accentuated as we've gotten older. And when you team up with the right crew as well, our front of house guy, Jamie, really, is an integral part of what we do live. And
Our deaf sound man.
our deaf sound man is, he's constantly turning the delays up, saying, I can't hear them. And it sounds amazing. It's also where live music works now and where we fit into the scene, because we're not like a pop band anymore. We're not in that kind of world where we were when we started off. That you're looking for where you do kind of harmoniously coexist. And what's happened with the music industry now, the music business or whatever you want to call it, the music shit show, is that everybody's sort of gravitating towards each other and finding their tribes, or the people that they have a natural kind of harmony with, either in their attitude or their aesthetic. And bands tend to sort of try and work together. And so when we've come over to America, it's been really cool to play with other bands who we kind of understand each other's music. It might not sound the same, but there's a common sort of empathy.
You can tell we've got similar records, at least a few records that we've got in common. Yeah, they like that record.
Yeah, we played the Levitation Room and on the East Coast, and with Bhopal Flowers in Canada. Not many sitar bands.
Not nearly enough.
Not enough. And Mystery Lights, and then with Dandies over here. So it's just been good. Everybody, it feels it's a similar kind. It's quite a broad age group as well. It's not just like dads and everything. It's quite a mixture of musos. Kind of like what I always wanted to be when I was a kid. I wanted to be, in a sort of a Grateful Dead type band where it's a lifestyle. It's like it's more than just a band. It's a sort of a way of a circus. Yeah, a circus with a way of looking at the world, and people do realize the world is a circus. They're calling it Clown World now. Well, they have for a while, and it's true. And I think music is a great way to escape and laugh at it all, and to try and sort of maintain some sort of independence also in how you look at things. Psychedelic music was always about that. Just melt reality, completely melt it and start again, because you realize it was all bullshit. Most of it was bullshit. What they told you about, who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to engage with the world. And we need another kind of refresh of that now. It's really important because people are stressed out and anxious.
Anxious robots.
Yeah, very anxious robots. And it's like a really good time for psychedelia, because under that umbrella comes a lot of interesting ideas. And it's fun too. It stops it being too serious.
I think I was reading your bio or something that said something about how your shows are more like happenings than shows. Is that you just try to kind of create like an atmosphere for the audience, and sort of an escape?
Yeah, well, certainly since we've been working with the Liquid Lights, it's kind of I'm enjoying the show from a punter's perspective as well now. Probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, you got to concentrate.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think well, traditionally a gig has always been a celebration.
Yeah.
I love that band. I love their records. But I think that the Dead is like, that's a good example, a classic example where actually the band are great, but it's more of an attitude.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's our attitude. It's just that the idea, the general principle of it works. And people want to come together, and people want to feel that kind of congregational atmosphere.
I did a quick interview with Danny Warhol's guitarist prior to this. And he was talking, and he was talking about how it's good to sort of like combine the fan bases of the two bands.
Yes.
Music is complementary.
It is, yeah.
So
and quite different at the same time.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So I guess what's your favorite part about like touring with Danny Warhol's? Because this is like your first time touring with them. You guys have both been around since mid '90s.
I was just sort of speaking with Courtney, and we were just saying it's really weird. We never really bumped into each other. We'd see kind of each other on TV shows and on the stages or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was saying, it's like kind of it was a cross thing like that happened, and we never really kind of. So it's nice to finally hook up. Yeah.
They absolutely, and that's the thing. The music doesn't have to be the same. It's more kind of an attitude to playing, and you just have to kind of gel, and you either do or you don't. So we toured a lot in the past with some great bands. We did a tour when we were kids called Horde, which doesn't exist anymore. And we toured with Beck and Neil Young and Ben Folds 5 and bands from the 90s, and we didn't really hang. It wasn't very sociable, was it?
Really, no.
We tried to.
I was talking earlier about it was the 90s nod, we call it. Yeah, that was as sociable as it got. You kind of just
Right.
Yeah, little nod.
The 90s nod.
Yeah, bands didn't. There's kind of this whole sort of mythos now, isn't it, about the 90s, isn't it? It's that really, was the mythos.
But now that's over because there's much more solidarity. Everybody's everybody's having to do it for the right reasons, because it's just a crazy time for music. Spotify have destroyed it. It started back 20 years ago.
Oh sure, yeah.
But we got to a point now where it's insane. It's just what you do is not worth anything anymore. So gigs are very important.
And sort of when you were coming up, and you mentioned that you become more psychedelic over time, I think people have a tendency to sort of pigeonhole you with like the Britpop scene or whatever, and so I don't think bands are really ever ones to categorize their own music, but I guess do you think that you sort of fit in with that whole scene that was happening at the time, or have you always felt more separate from it? Because there are some differences between
I think we're the Britpop anomaly. We were we were sort of unexpected arrivals at the party. Yeah. But we're part of British music. Part of but British music is also American music. You can't separate them. And so we came, and we wouldn't exist without George Harrison, but we wouldn't exist without Vanilla Fudge.
Sure.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is the Britpop as a sort of a media label, and so we were cynical about it then, and obviously now it's just represents a certain time. But we had a much, because we were more psychedelic and we were into spiritual ideas, and that kind of set us apart. They weren't British. It wasn't really a British thing so much. It was we were a bit more into the cosmic. ideas. Yeah, we've been to Rishikesh already, you know.
As I mentioned earlier, your next album is out early next year. What are your feelings going into the release? And this is not your first time around the block, and so is it just sort of routine? Okay, got another album coming out, or excited?
Every gig you play must be played as if it could potentially be your last. So when you make a record, it's no different. It has to be your greatest record yet.
Yeah.
You have to, and if you stop, it stops being that excitement and that kind of passion. It's just not as good. It's not as good. So we're still very much in the game and still looking for something that we. I think Wormslayer is like that's the sort of the great sort of standout track of the record, and it's like you kind of got to get through the whole album for that payoff, because it comes at the end of the record, and then there's a sort of coda track at the end. But I think you need to sort of in that respect it's a little bit like a concept record, because it does all build to a point, tell the story. So it has that going for it too.
Is that one that you play on set?
We're not ready to play that one yet.
Not ready to unleash that.
No, we were working to this idea of 4 hobbits fighting a giant worm, and we need to act it out as well when we play it. So we'll need
get our costumes made up.
Wardrobe and props.
The costumes aren't ready yet.
I think that'll do it. See you guys then.
At this moment, we wrapped up the interview, and I stopped the recording, at which point Crispian asked me about this project. I told him I mainly do interviews, because who cares what I have to say? I mean, I'm not famous. And he had some words for that. So, with his permission, I started recording again.
Our opinion's all in our music, in terms of do you have something to say? And we say it all on our songs and our gigs and stuff, but celebrity opinions has become a really awful thing, especially since the explosion of constant posting. And I think some people, that's what they do, and they're really good at it. And it's great that there are all these opinions still out there, although I don't know how long this is going to last. And I think people, here in America, you've got left and right, this big thing of left and right, and are you this or are you that? And it's really spread over the whole world, the same division. But actually, everybody's starting to suss that is bullshit. Everyone's essentially in the middle, more or less in the middle. More or less.
They're rights from the bloody French Revolution. It's got nothing to do with modern politics in that sense. But we still use those terms to very dividing.
Right.
So I think we're happy to just say it with flowers, as they say in the old the 70s. And I hope that people keep talking. I think everyone agrees on that. It's a bit need to have freedom of speech too. That's not a right thing or a left thing. That's just common sense. It doesn't matter who you talk to. Most people are pretty much more or less in the middle, and it's just like people who are right on the fringes who make a lot of noise, and they get a lot of attention. And then you think, oh my God, look what's happening over here. But actually, most people are not. They don't give a shit. They just want to get on with their lives. So it's interesting to come to America and see the same bullshit being pushed. It's going to be all right.
It's going to be okay.
But at some point, people do need to just push back and say, I'm not going along with it. Sorry, it's just civil disobedience. I know it got Gandhi killed, but it's a very quiet way of just being keeping your independence. Just to push back by just not participating. You know.
Well, that's what I read about.
Yes.
That was a charming interview with the guys in Kula Shaker. I hope you enjoyed, and if you like what you're hearing, their latest single, Be Merciful, just came out on Wednesday, and their next album, Wormslayer, comes out January 30th. So stay tuned for that. For more interviews with other cool bands, visit youngsteryear.com, follow this project on Instagram at youngsteryear, and listen to these interviews anywhere podcasts are available. That's all for now. Once again, hope you enjoyed, and thank you for listening.
Be merciful to me, 'cause I'm so long waiting. Be merciful to me, 'cause I'm all alone. You were there before I knew your name. You could hear me calling out in pain. I wish I could trust you.